Welcome, everyone. I'm Dallas Blaney. I'm the Executive Director of Challenge America, and I want to welcome you all to the fourth uh, COVID-19 Maker Challenge. This is the closing ceremony for our week-long program, and we're so thrilled to have you here and so grateful that you've taken time away from your family, friends, especially on a Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening to join us. If you haven't done so already, I would ask that you go ahead and mute yourself just for the course of the presentation, unless you're going to present later into the program. I do want to give everyone just a quick caveat or let you know what's going on here. We're coming to you live from the mountains of Colorado, where we just lost our internet service in the valley where we live. And so we've all retreated to our homes from our office, and there's a storm blowing in. It's windy, so it's entirely likely that I may just glitz out at some point. So if that happens, Maggie Tolan, who's with us, will hop right in and I'm sure do an amazing job. So hopefully that won't happen, but I just want to give everyone a heads up that that may occur. So I just want to briefly give everybody a little bit of an overview of what this is and how it came to pass. And then what we'll do is we'll go into a keynote speech from Dr. Clancy, who's absolutely amazing. I'll give you her bio in just a few seconds. And then I'll introduce our judges for the program this evening. And then we'll dive into the team presentations. Following the team presentations, there'll be some entertainment from my good friend David Berkeley, while the judges move to a breakout room in Zoom to begin their deliberations on who is deserving of awards for this program. And then following that, they'll come back into our main Zoom session and we'll have our award ceremony. And that'll conclude the program. We expect all of this to take about 2 to 2.5 hours. That's basically what we've allowed. We've allowed each team about 5 minutes to present their solution. And I'll explain what this is all about in just a second. And at the conclusion of their presentation, we'll allow the judges about 3 to 5 minutes to ask questions of the teams before we move on to the next team. We have 9 teams in all, so this will take a little bit of time to get through the presentations and then move on to awards. So strap yourself in. It's going to be a great program, a great evening, and there are incredible solutions that you're going to be witness to. And so we're really excited to have you. Just briefly about this program. This program is a modification of a program that my organization, Challenge America, launched in 2019 in partnership with my good friend Danielle Krikora and the Veterans Health Administration Innovation Ecosystem. That program was called, and still is called, Challenge America Makers for Veterans. And the goal of that program was to try to accelerate the pace of innovation for injured veterans by running a technology challenge program somewhat similar to the one that we're doing this evening. We had a lot of success with that program, and we're very excited going into 2020 to continue on and even expand that effort. But of course, COVID struck, and so we pivoted, as many of you probably have as well in your professional lives. And Danielle had the amazing foresight and idea to say, hey, why don't we pivot by trying to address the needs of essential workers? And by doing that, we were able to, I can see my lights flickering here, which doesn't bode well, sorry. So by doing that, we were able to take a program that was really designed for a lot of in-person activity and make it 100% virtual. And so, and we've also been able to compress the time frame. So the program we ran previously was a 5-month-long program from beginning to end, in order to allow the teams the time and the support to actually create working prototypes of the solutions they designed for the injured veteran they work with. In this case, we're only allowing the teams a week. So our program actually takes about a month to run, you know, including all the time we spend trying to solicit challenges from essential workers actually on the front lines of COVID-19, and then building the teams around those challenges. And then we have a launch event And that launch or kickoff event actually happened about a week ago on Friday, where we brought the teams together for the first time, ran them through a design thinking workshop run by the amazing Renee Poland and Balance Innovation and Design. And then the teams got a chance to really drill down by working with the individual, the end user, submit a challenge for this program, and then began the process of ideating a solution. We also asked them to go one step further, however, beyond just ideating a solution, to actually build a working prototype. So in some cases, you'll actually, if you're new to all of this, you'll actually get an opportunity to see those working prototypes in action this evening. So it's all very exciting stuff. So these teams, you know, it's not a lot of time to go from learning about a problem to building a prototype. It's a very short window, and these teams have all been successful in doing so. So it's really an amazing accomplishment for everybody involved, and we couldn't be more grateful for their time and energy that they poured into this. The focus of this particular program is caregivers. And so, you know, one thing I've learned over the course of the last month in doing a deep dive into the challenges that caregivers face, and we heard about this actually yesterday with a different step in our program process, is that, you know, caregivers really, what the work that they do is very intimate and requires a high level of trust. And they really do put themselves at risk to take care of folks who, for whatever reason, just aren't able to fully take care of themselves. By entering those homes, by leaving the home, and then potentially exposing themselves or their family, their loved ones, to COVID when they return home. I mean, they're really putting their lives in many cases right on the line. And they're amazing people with huge hearts, and they do very challenging work oftentimes. And so they're very deserving, I feel, of any support that we can give them, particularly now, to help cope with COVID-19. So I think everybody who's been involved with the program will probably echo that feeling as well, as they've gone through this process to learn more about the challenges caregivers face. So so we're really thrilled and honored to be able to be here and to do this work. So and I think if you're new to this, you're really going to get a kick out of the solutions that you're going to hear about here in just a few minutes. So the next step for us is actually for me to introduce our keynote speaker. And I can begin to tell you how thrilled I am to have her here with us. Dr. Clancy serves, and let me advance my, pull up my slide here. Sorry, I'm not doing this in my proper order. Here we go. Okay. Hopefully that works. Okay, so there you go. There's Dr. Clancy. Dr. Clancy serves as the Veterans Health Administration Deputy Undersecretary for Health for Discovery, Education, and Affiliate Networks, where she fosters collaboration and knowledge transfer with facility-based educators, researchers, and clinicians within VA and between VA and its affiliates. Previously, Dr. Clancy has served as executive in charge for the VHA, that's the Veterans Health Administration, with the authority to perform the functions and duties of the Undersecretary for Health. In this role, she directed a healthcare system with an annual budget of approximately $68 billion, that's with a B, $billion, overseeing the delivery of care to more than 9 million enrolled veterans. She's incredible. Dr. Clancy is a general internist and health services researcher who holds an academic appointment at George Washington University School of Medicine and serves as Senior Associate Editor of Health Services Research. She has authored or contributed to more than 225 scholarly journal articles. That's unbelievable, and contributed to 8 textbooks. And as you will soon discover, she is a wonderful person. So I'm absolutely thrilled to have Dr. Clancy here. And without further ado, Dr. Clancy, take it away.
Well, thank you so much. I'm now going to use the 4 words we all hear continuously. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for a lovely introduction, Dallas. I really appreciate it. There were one or two moments when I actually thought your connectivity had died altogether, but you came back. Um, I hope that everyone's been having a nice weekend, and I really want to thank you and the innovation ecosystem for inviting me to join you today. These makeathons are amazing sprints of creativity, and I'm always inspired by the ideas that they generate. Um, More specifically, the COVID-19 Maker Challenges are generating innovations that are already helping the critical work of first responders, environmental management service workers, and frontline staff at long-term care facilities where there have been huge problems, as I think many of you are already aware. And I think, as many of you know, in addition to its clinical education and research missions, VA has a fourth statutory mission, and that is, and I quote, to improve the nation's preparedness for response to war, terrorism, national emergencies, and natural disasters by developing plans and taking actions to ensure continued service to veterans, as well as to support national, state, and local emergency, ... Um, Another way to say this is anytime there's a national emergency, because we have facilities everywhere, we have boots on the ground, which makes us a very, very valuable ally to many federal, state, and local partners. So right now, during hurricane season, is the time of year we often hear about how this fourth mission comes into play as our facilities work with their local communities ravaged by storms. And in fact, I understand that the fifth and final Maker Challenge will focus on the needs of disaster relief workers. But it's fair to say that during this pandemic, the fourth mission is being operationalized literally 24/7. So as VA's dean, the acronym for our group is No Accident, I'm privileged to lead an office that encompasses many of the capabilities and resources helping VHA and our healthcare system at large in the battle against this virus. That includes our Office of Academic Affiliations. We are connected to literally every medical school and many, many other disciplinary schools as well. Our Office of Research Development, our newest member of the Dean family, the Office of Community Engagement, and of course, the Innovation Ecosystem. As you know, the ecosystem is dedicated to developing, replicating, and scaling innovative solutions VA-wide. And in responding to this pandemic, their work has given us an enormous advantage, especially compared to other healthcare systems. It's not just the products and best practices. Of course, those are really important. It's the innovation infrastructure that they have put into place well before the pandemic began. So it's almost like a reusable rocket, if you think about it that way. Because of the innovation ecosystem, we know how to learn quickly, fail quickly, and apply lessons learned to move forward quickly. We've seen this cycle of success over and over again with major rollouts such as 3D printing and the Light Electronic Action Framework, also known fondly as LEAF. By rapidly spreading innovation throughout the VHA healthcare system, the innovation ecosystem shows us every day what it means to be a learning organization, and that is one of our most critical resources in combating COVID-19. So I think too that when longer term solutions to this public health crisis seem far away, it's heartening to know there are some rapid fire solutions underway already helping frontline staff. This is certainly true of the COVID-19 Maker Challenges. What these makeathons show us is that even a relatively small, nuanced change can make a very big difference. For example, during the first Maker Challenge, which focused on challenges faced by first-line responders, one team designed a protective mask that would look a lot less intimidating to the public. By the way, this intimidating factor is something that many clinicians have observed and, feel quite chagrined about, that it gets in the way of their communicating as effectively as they'd like with patients. During the second event, teams focused on designing solutions for challenges facing environmental management services staff. For example, an innovative group called Team Can't Touch This, designed a tool to help staff avoid direct contact with frequently touched surfaces like door handles and switches. The tool featured a retractable door opening and touch point device that included a sanitization process each time it retracted. Today, Team Can't Touch This is in early discussions with VA Sierra Nevada Healthcare System and the Memphis Medical Center to put their solution in the hands of environmental services workers in Reno for feedback and testing. During the third Makeathon, experts across the country focused on the needs of frontline workers and patients at long-term care facilities. Safeguarding the health and well-being of these higher risk residents has been one of the pandemic's most heartbreaking challenges. So that brings us to today and the challenges caregivers encounter while serving their clients, including veterans. As Dallas referenced a few minutes ago, these are truly unsung heroes of patient care, even in non-pandemic times. When I looked on the Maker19 website, I was greatly impressed by the many seemingly small, yet important problems the challenge submitters addressed. Not surprisingly, several challenge ideas focused on masks. For example, for caregivers, how do you communicate with clients who depend upon lip reading? After all, if your face is covered, no one can read your lips. How do you filter out odors and allergens you encounter? For patients, how can masks be made to better accommodate oxygen, especially for those who already have breathing problems? Looking at some other categories, I also noticed an idea for ready-to-go hand washing kits. Wouldn't we all love something like that? And if there's one thing we've learned in healthcare about infections, when you make hand washing easy and impossible to avoid, people do it much more often than otherwise. So again, I'd like to thank the innovation ecosystem again for inviting me to join you today. And my thanks to all the challenge submitters for sharing their creative ideas with us. I know all of you will make the judges' work very, very painful and difficult, but that's a good set of decisions to have. Please stay safe and stay well, and thank you again.
Thank you, Dr. Clancy, and thank you so much for your support and the support of the departments you oversee. Without that, we wouldn't be able to do this challenge. So we're so grateful to you and to have you here too. This is amazing, so thank you so much. What I'd like to do next, everyone, is if I could. So I'm just going to shift gears here and share my screen again. And I apologize if I cut in and out. It's an electricity thing. Our highways are shutting down. It's it's kind of crazy here, but so hopefully everyone can see the screen now. And just a reminder to everyone who's on the Zoom call, please do mute yourself. So everyone, please take a second, just check your screen, make sure you're muted, unless you're actually going to be presenting. That way we won't be interrupting the presenters as they go along. So first I'd like to introduce Carrie Voetman. Carrie is a director of Salesforce Solutions and UX at, that's user experience, at Liberty IT Solutions. Carrie finds fulfillment in serving veterans and is passionate about gerontology and user experience design. She is certified in residential care facilities for the elderly and is a chapter ambassador of the Adult and Aging Commission. So clearly someone who we're very thrilled to have aboard as an evaluator and a judge of these solutions. So thank you, Carrie, for joining us. We're also joined by Sheila Collins. Sheila is a senior innovation catalyst at the AARP Innovation Labs. In this role, Sheila has been at the forefront of groundbreaking efforts to address menopause, diabetes, and heart health. Sheila has more than 15 years experience in marketing, e-commerce, and innovation. Sheila enjoys creative writing, yoga, and kickboxing, and I've had a little bit of time to spend some time with Sheila, and she's an amazing person as well, so we're really thrilled to have Sheila aboard. Thank you, Sheila. Also joining us is Alex Balber. Dr. Balber leads a talented team of dedicated professionals as the Director of Independent Services at the Wounded Warrior Project. Previously, he served as a healthcare consultant for the Department of Defense and as Chief of Operations for Clinical Research at the National Intrepid Center of Excellence. So he's an amazing person, and I've had an opportunity to interact with him a little bit now as well, and Dr. Balber's incredible. So I'm really thrilled to have him on board too. Also joining us is Dr. Brandon Rybeck. Dr. Rybeck is the Technology Director for America Makes, which, by the way, is one of our core partners in this program. America Makes is a leading national accelerator for additive manufacturing and 3D printing. So you can see why they're such a core partner of ours. Previously, Dr. Rybeck was a joining processes or led joining processes and AM materials specialist for Rolls-Royce, where he developed the first, and I apologize, I don't know what this is, Dr. Rybeck, but hopefully you can explain it for us. The first CMSX. Oh, someone's got their mute off. I think it. Everybody, check your mute, please. He led CMSX-4 AM additive manufacturing repair for Rolls-Royce. So incredible wealth of knowledge around additive manufacturing and 3D printing, and his work for America Makes is exceptional. So it's wonderful to have him on board too. And then finally, we're joined by Blake Henderson. Blake is the director of VHA's, that's the Veteran Health Administration. He's the director of VHA's Diffusion of Excellence program, an accelerator for testing, replicating, and scaling promising practices across the nation's largest integrated healthcare system. He is an experienced product developer and team builder, and has been integral in the development of VA business systems, such as VA's Light Electronic Action Framework, or LEAF, that Dr. Clancy referenced, and clinical platforms like the Remote Veteran Sleep Apnea Management Platform, or REVAMP. And I've had an opportunity to spend a little bit of time with Blake as well, and he's incredible. So it's wonderful to have all of these amazing judges on board. And I think, you know, they're going to lend an incredible wealth of insight to all the teams, and we're just so excited to have them as part of the program. So next steps, everyone. Really, I think we're braced to take the next step forward and launch into the first presentation. So the way these presentations will run is that I will briefly introduce the team, basically just by throwing up a slide announcing the team name. And then the teams will have 5 minutes to present their solution. And at the end of that 5-minute period, we'll open it up to questions from the judges. Now, we've asked the judges to submit their questions through the chat feature on Zoom, so everyone can track those questions there. I'll also read off those questions immediately following the presentation from the teams. We'll allow about 3 minutes for the questions, and then we'll move on to the next team. In the course of the judges submitting their questions, certainly if you have any insights or you have any questions regarding these particular solutions, please also feel free to include those in the chat feature. Because I do know that they would be, you know, the teams would very much appreciate your insights and questions as well to help them further refine their designs. Without further ado, I will introduce our first team. And our first team is Team Watch Me Now. And I think Andrew Coppinger is going to lead that presentation. Is that correct, Andrew?
That's right.
Okay. Take it away.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. We are Team Watch Me Now. We're a mixed group of software and hardware specialists. I'm Andrew Coppinger, the team lead. Our software experts are Sandy Sparrow, Uma Karthikanian, and along with our hardware solution team, Ray Vogel and Pamela Zamara, and our subject matter expert, Chris Julius. So thanks to COVID-19 lockdowns, in-home providers cannot visit patients in person like they used to, and had to adapt to video technology. The VA VidConnect app does allow for video visits, and the usage of video visits have jumped from about 2,000 visits in January to 25,000 visits in May, and that is not enough. And the unfortunate reality is not everybody is as tech savvy as the times call for. So our challenge was to find out how to make video visits better. While the VA has addressed this by providing smartphones and tablets, the plain fact is it's just not enough to give providers the big picture of the patient's home environment and to see their mobility and what they are dealing with. Our solution would have to allow the provider to see more of the patient, and the patient should be able to do it without taking their hands off their walker. So we took a two-pronged approach to make the video visits better. Our software experts went right in and looked at the current flow and process of setting up a VA VidConnect appointment. With insights provided by Chris, we identified ways to ease the process of getting in VA VidConnect, specifically streamlining the login process and minimizing the number of clicks needed by the patient. The end result will lead to a quicker entry for the patient and less cognitive load for the patient at home. This would expand access to more users to embrace VA VidConnect app over time. We also explored how to make the app better for providers as well by syncing it together with another smart camera or smart video. This would allow the provider to see the patient at multiple angles simultaneously. The provider can create a session recording and a transcription capability while also taking work off the provider, thus allowing them to focus on the patient. That can lead to an overall increase in quality of care by freeing the provider's mind from note-taking and directing their attention at patient engagement. Software improvements are good, but they can only go so far if the physical restrictions are not addressed. Chris, our subject matter expert, emphasized just how difficult and unsafe it is for a patient to hold a smartphone in one hand and using a walker in the other. We had to come up with a way to free up the patient's hand while giving Chris a better perspective of the patient and their environment. One method Chris shared was that some people done was tape a stick to the walker to hold the phone. Clearly, there had to be a better solution. We researched what was available in the market for phone and tablet holders. There was a whole lot of them, and we looked at ones that were approved by VA-approved suppliers, some of which you see here on the screen. What we decided on was to create something that could support the phone while giving the provider a more focused view of the patient, which led us to our 3D printer for creating a prototype. We acquired and modified existing designs that were already out there to create a self-standing motorized tower to hold the smartphone in place where the provider needs to see the patient. This will allow the provider to explore the lower half of the patient in a way that they couldn't before, or the provider can ask the patient to please put me on the tower, slide me down to foot level, and let me see you walk. The provider can repeat this process as necessary and adjust it however they need to have a necessary evaluation. This prototype was manufactured using both domestic equipment and eco-friendly materials. An added benefit is that it's lightweight, freestanding, portable, and even can be adapted to a cart. So we all know that the challenges of COVID have taken a heavy demand on everybody. That includes all healthcare providers, VHA as well. And it's forced everybody to revisit and reevaluate their approaches and resources towards health management and delivery. Our approach has deemed it necessary to improve both the access to the patients and the providers and allow providers to receive the bigger picture that they cannot get from an in-person physical visit due to the coronavirus pandemic. We thank Challenge America for giving us this opportunity to share our idea, and we invite you to join us as we continue to explore further how to make this better for our patients and providers. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Great job. So I'm going to go ahead and dive directly into some of the questions from our judges. We're already getting a few. So from Carrie, she says, is there any consideration, I should probably, oh, I'm not muted. Okay, sorry. Is there any consideration with privacy issues with bringing cameras via phones into the home?
There would be a discussion to be had about compassionate use. Obviously, we do not want to compromise the patient's privacy, and there would be a process in place for that. And I can't speak to the exact details of that. That's outside my scope, but we have been aware of that concern and are ready to look forward part in how to approach that.
Okay. And from Brandon, he asks, is the app limited to Apple operating system, or is it available for various smartphone platforms?
I'll let one of the software members of my team answer that one. Uma or Sandy, you guys should be joining us.
Hi, this is Uma Karthikeyan. I'm one of the team members. Yes, we're going to implement this solution using the QR codes, and you already know that number of hospitals have been already using this power of QR codes, and this QR code can be implemented in iOS devices and other Android devices. And since QR codes can be edited and customized for individual patients, they can be connected in a secured way. So does it answer your question?
And this is Sandy Sparrow. The VA Video Connect is available to patients now via they can use their computer, they can use any Android app, and then there's a downloadable app for iPhone. So it's multiple devices.
Okay, thank you. And then from Sheila, she asked, what is the battery life? So in other words, what is required to keep it charged?
I'll let our 3D printing expert, Pamela, respond to that one. Pamela?
Hi, this is Pamela, and there is no battery life. It plugs in.
Oh, okay. That makes it simple.
Yeah, the only device that would have a battery would be the phone itself.
Okay. And then one last question, time for just one more, is the functionality on the patient side or provider side or both? In other words, can the provider control the device themselves to do a visual scan, or is the patient the one who controls the device?
That's a good question. If we can scroll back a few slides, we can show you the UI mock-up that we have. Not this one, one more, right here. Here. So this would be a functionality that would have to be addressed for both patient and provider. So what you're looking at here on the left side of the screen is the patient view, what we call the patient portal. That's the way that it currently is. What we are looking to explore is how to add another video feature in, so that way when the patient has their iPhone device as well, they can get video feed from two devices into one. And so there would be functionality on both sides, but the primary purpose is for the provider to get as many different angles as possible so they can observe their patient in action.
Okay. Thank you, Andrew, and thank you to the team. Great job, everybody.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Just gonna scroll forward to the, okay. So next up, we have team hand washing on the go. And I believe Brian Patterson is going to present this one. Is that correct, Brian?
Right. All right. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, my name is Brian Patterson. I was joined by Anjana Shekhar and Matt Creed, our end user at the VA. We had several other members that were unfortunately impacted by the hurricane in Texas. Matt is a physical therapist with the VA in Youngstown, Ohio. In addition to his physical therapy work, a large portion of his day is doing home safety evaluation and repair work of safety equipment. This encompasses everything from grab bars to toilet seats. And as you can imagine, he ends up with pretty dirty hands as a result. Frankly, caregivers need to be able to wash their hands with soap and water after completing patient visits. And unfortunately, facilities are not always available. This has been a problem for a while now, and it's largely due to the effects of C. diff. Hand sanitizer is not approved. Soap and water is the best option for dealing with it. And pre-COVID, he would stop somewhere to wash his hands, either a McDonald's, a 7-Eleven. Post-COVID, that is not a good reality because that can expose him to something else. So for our design process, we started with pages of questions, and we were really thankful to get a ton of great feedback from that. We explored solutions across a very wide range of complexity levels. UNICEF compiled a ton of things in terms of solutions for low resource environments. Unfortunately, many of them are large. We also found some much more higher tech solutions. The price point was pretty steep, and there weren't many great solutions for vehicles. His goal was to have something that could be in the front passenger seat of his vehicle to allow for easy cleaning. We Our goal was further to make a design that could be easily distributed, the parts could be sourced even in this current environment, and it could easily be assembled. We were trying to knock down as many barriers to use as we possibly could. For our prototype solution, we developed a modular setup that could store clean water as well as used wastewater. There are multiple configurations to suit the needs, and I'll talk about them in a sec. There are straps to secure it to the front passenger seat across a very wide range of vehicles in the fleet, everything from a subcompact all the way up to a full-size van. This device stores soap, paper towels, as well as masks to help make life easier. It can easily be refilled and emptied without unfastening it from the vehicle to make life easier on the end user, as well as to deal with any complications from freezing temperature. The entire device can be easily wiped down to clean, and we got an incredible amount of feedback from Matt. He actually helped make several prototypes and was involved the entire process. We also completed testing across several vehicles, a subcompact and a minivan, just to make sure things would fit and things would work as they should. Our prototype is intended to be the epitome of open source, meaning you don't need to buy a single thing from us. We can give you a cut diagram, full diagrams to create it, and you need basic hand tools to assemble. The idea is we want to make sure that anybody can assemble this with limited training, as meaning that this could be incorporated into either retraining efforts for veterans or even vocational rehabilitation. The cost per unit, depending upon the configuration, is somewhere between $50 and $75. And if you weigh that against the cost of getting even one sick employee who then has to quarantine for 2 full weeks, best case scenario. Worst case scenario, they spread it to other employees or to other patients. In terms of future improvements, we would like to do further R&D on better valves and some custom sized containers so that we can further shrink the footprint of this to make it even less obtrusive. Dallas, do you mind to, and we can click to the next one. And then do you mind to take or expand my camera so that you can see it in action? So this is one version that you see a picture of inside a minivan, and I have got the other one right next to me in my mock-up of a small sedan. So simply get some soap, turn on water, you can scrub. I'm not going to scrub for a full 30 seconds, but you get the idea. Grab paper towels, and you are clean to head on to the next patient. We wanted this to be as easy and as accessible as is possible, because we want this to be something that can be rolled out to as many users as quickly as possible to help keep them safe and keep your other patients safe. Thank you.
Great job, Brian. I love the MacGyver approach to this. It's really amazing. So I think it's very slick to use off-the-shelf things to keep the cost low. I think that's amazing. Great job, you guys. So from Blake, he asks, is there any waste, in other words, dirty water generated, and how is that handled?
Correct. There is going to be gray water generated. That's just natural, and that's the bottom container. We basically started with an oil drum receptacle. It's something that is meant to be used and abused. It will not react to soap or any other chemicals. At the end of the day, that can simply be dumped down a drain so that there are not environmental complications, and it also does not run the risk of potentially cross-contaminating should the provider come into contact with something on their hands.
Okay, great. I just love it. I think that's great.
I see a question. How much does it weigh? The full thing weighs about 5 pounds. If you fill it up with water, it takes it to about 15 pounds. It's perhaps a little bit heavier than it could be, but I did construction all through school, and I learned when in doubt, build it stout. The full thing, before I even glued it up, supported my entire body weight. I would be confident to put it in the vehicle. If you have to hit the brakes hard, I wouldn't be worried about it going anywhere. Question was asked, how much time would it take a person to assemble? Assuming you have never worked with any hand tools, it might take a little bit longer. If you've done some basics, and if you're being taught the basics of either a plumbing trade or the basics of an HVAC trade, it would be a piece of cake. It took, I would estimate you can probably make one in under an hour. at least once you have the cut list and the diagram. That took quite a bit more figuring on our part before we get to that.
And let me just jump in and ask a question. What would you see as the next step? If you had more time, what would you do to further refine this?
Absolutely, that's a great question. If we had further time, I would love to test with some other valves. We came across some that are intended for rain barrels, but there were some shipping delays that we just couldn't get them in time. And that better valves equals less likelihood of spilling. I would love to be able to make this hands-free. I see that question that popped up, and we were toying with it, but given the ones that we had on hand, I couldn't make it happen in the time that we have, but that is absolutely a next step.
Okay. Well, thanks, Brian, and thanks to the whole team. You guys did a great job. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Exciting. Okay. So let me just do the screen share again. Okay. So next up, we have Team Mask Stash, and I'm not sure who's presenting for this team.
It will be me. Hi, everyone. So my name is Jaya Balkumar. I'm the team leader here for Team Mask Stash. Next slide. So our problem revolves around, patients and in-home care providers requiring a hygienic environment to store their masks in between uses to prevent contamination. A sanitary way to store the mask while not in use would be extremely beneficial to patients and prevent masks from being placed on the floor and other contaminated surfaces, which is kind of the reality of what we face at in-home care units. Not only would it be beneficial to patients, but perhaps to medical providers to hold their masks in between patient visits while traveling in their vehicles to the next patient. Next slide.
Oops.
Oh, so our design process really started with how do we hold masks? How do we make sure we can hold masks so that way we're not going to be infecting anyone else and there's not going to be any cross-contamination? That brought us down to pockets, sleeves, boxes, and folders, basically anything that can contain the mask. And that's kind of our inspiration from existing solutions and moving forward. Next slide. Starting off with our very first product, the nylon mesh case. So the nylon mesh case is a transparent, breathable bag with two sides, a clean side to store clean masks and a dirty side to store the used masks. Some of the key features include that it is designed for surgical and cloth masks. It is a temporary storage when masks are not in use. The clean side comes with a Ziploc mechanism to isolate the clean mask from the dirty or used mask, and it's designed for the visually impaired. Magnets close the mesh case so that they can be attached to walkers and refrigerators, and it can be washed with soap, water, and alcohol wipes as well. In the future, we hope to make this out of a biodegradable material for future improvements. Moving forward to our next product, the silicone collapsible case. A silicone-based collapsible case with a rigid silicone membrane that can hold an N95 respirator in between uses. The case is microwavable to sterilize the masks with heat from steam generated by the water compartment. Some of the key features include that it sanitizes N95 masks using heat from the steam when microwaved. This is similar to an autoclave machine for sterilizing other medical apparatus. It requires very little water, it is dishwasher friendly, and it's compatible with alcohol wipes as well. When microwaved, it takes a short amount of time to sanitize the masks. And a silicone grid helps hold the N95 respirator. It does not affect filtration or the fit of the respirator. And eventually, for future improvements, we hope that this silicone case can hold more than one N95 mask. And this design is in compliance with CDC guidelines. Moving on to the next slide. Nurses received both of our ideas very well. They had concerns about microwaving the masks given the N95 guidelines, but they loved the idea for a long-term storage during travel. We would like to thank our leaders, sponsors, Ms. Karen Shoemaker, and all the other professionals for giving us the opportunity and resources to collaborate on a great project. Thank you.
Thank you. Great job. Okay, so just waiting for some questions to roll in. Okay, here we have one from Brandon. Does the sterilization step require the mask in the container while it is being microwaved? Mask be in the container, sorry.
So this is for the the silicone collapsible case, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, so that would be how the mask would be sterilized. Okay, if we can pull up the slide once again, Mr. Dallas,
Yes.
for that.
Sorry, it's having some technical issues here.
Well, that's not my team.
Okay.
All right, so if you can see here in the prototype where we have the blue set of pictures.
Silicone collapsible case for what?
I'm sorry?
Go ahead.
Okay. So the silicone collapsible case, once this grid has been fit into the box, the N95 mask will be placed on top of it. Whatever is below is where you would fill the water. So technically you would fill the water up first, and then you would place the grid on top of it, and then you would put the mask, close it up, and then you would microwave it. There's a vent at the top, as you can see on the lid, so that the steam actually escapes and doesn't increase the pressure of the box as well. If that kind of answers the question.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And one thing too, I failed to, I'm having some computer issues, everyone, I apologize. So I failed to play this video when she was on this slide. So I'm gonna go ahead and run that while we address some other questions. And does the sterilization step require, oh, we already have that one. Is there a time limit for how long the mask should be in the container?
Yes, so when it's being microwaved, 3 minutes should do the trick.
Okay. And is there a preference for reusable mask versus disposable by this population?
We see that most of them use the surgical masks, so the disposable ones. So I would say just because that is more accessible, that would be their preference per se, but I don't believe that there's a specific requirement or so.
Okay. Okay, great. And then Brandon asks, he said he's curious about the metal components. Can you expand on that or talk about those a little bit?
Metal components.
Yeah, so this is Avishek here. We did, so this particular idea, the silicone collapsible case, was inspired by, it was done by Harvard University, and the metal component actually has no reaction. There's no like sparking when the N95 mask is inside the microwave. That was a conclusion that was made during that research.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so if there aren't any further questions, oh, we have one from Alex. Any concerns about fit testing after sterilizing the N95 mask?
Abhishek, would you like to take this one?
Yeah, so that particular product, the collapsible case, does not affect the form or the fit of the N95 mask. We've tried to make sure that a provider just places the mask over the grid upside down, so the inside is facing upwards, and then just put it in the microwave. It does not affect the functionality, the form, or the fit of the N95.
Okay, thank you everyone, great job team. Okay, next up we have Team Boredom Busters. And I think Nalita, no, not Nalita, Ken. I think Ken is going to lead this presentation.
Yep. Ken and Haley are going to be
Thanks,
co-leading. All right. Well, welcome to Team Boredom Busters presentation. Our team was truly inspired by our assigned VA caregivers, Ida Carson and Nalita Lewis. And below is the rest of the team from our company at Acumen. Next slide, Acumen, at Optum. Chairwoman Brownlee from the House Veteran Affairs Committee said it best, that caregivers are the most important component of rehabilitation and maintenance of our veterans because keeping the veterans home with their families leads to healthier lives. So when we started brainstorming the original challenge to develop a digital game to address boredom, we kept coming back to addressing isolation, which is a root cause for boredom. So based on our caregivers' feedback, we tweaked the first challenge and modified it so that we created a solution for the caregiver that not only provides stimulation, but also addresses appreciation and isolation. The caregiver program saves significant amount of money. In fact, it costs VA between $56,000 to $400,000 to treat a veteran at a facility annually, while it only costs VA $19,000 to keep a veteran home with a caregiver. So assuming VA has 500,000 caregivers, VA could realize $66 billion per year. Chairwoman Brownlee said that these savings should be invested into other programs, and we say that 1% of 1% of these savings should be reinvested back to the caregiver to address their needs. Next slide. Our team worked tirelessly. We brainstormed, we then researched our ideas on the internet to make sure that we weren't recreating the wheel, because as you can imagine, VA has a plethora of resources for caregivers. We then pitched our ideas to Ida and Nalita, and they gave immediate feedback. In fact, the first idea we pitched, we completely flamed out, but that made us work even harder. At the end, we learned that caregivers do not need another app or technology solution. They need something that they can hold and touch and remind them how appreciated they are. And now I'm going to hand it over to Haley to present our solution. Haley?
Awesome. Thank you, Ken, and thank you, everybody. Our solution is, and we can advance to the next slide, if that's okay. Perfect, thank you. Our solution is a caregiver compassion box. This box is curated items of quality that align to the caregiver's interests, such as arts and crafts, self-care and spa, sports, reading, cooking, etc. This will begin as a pilot for the program of comprehensive assistance for family caregivers, and those caregivers will be notified of their inclusion in this pilot. The Caregiver Compassion Box is personalized to the caregiver. They'll have a login to the Compassion Box interface, so we know their preferences of things they enjoy, and they'll confirm their best address. This will be housed on the VA website, so we are expecting this to be housed at va.gov/compassionbox. The caregivers will receive a box each season, so that's 4 total a year. The items in the box would vary, but the quality must remain consistent for the program to be successful. The box will be branded VA, but the contents inside would be sourced from the private sector. This would be donated or sponsored items. It could also be sold at a discounted or wholesale price. The boxes, or the organizations and businesses, are always looking for ways to increase their goodwill. They have lots of dollars from donations and looking to really create that brand awareness and increase their reputation. So it really would be a win-win for both these organizations willing to donate as well as the VA. The box would be caregiver-centric, so it would be tied to things that they enjoy. They're always spending their hours giving to others, and so it's a time that we recognize them and give back to them. We do have some examples on the right-hand side of the slide that show areas in the private sector that currently execute this model and do it very successfully today. And we can advance to the next slide. So in terms of user feedback and usability, so we did run this by Ida and Nalita, and they really did enjoy the, I think I made some feedback. They really did enjoy the idea, and we actually have some people on our team that currently subscribe to these curated boxes that align to our interests. So we do know it to be effective and a successful solution. While we don't foresee VA necessarily running this program solo, we do recommend that they create a solicitation for one of these over 7,000 companies that do this today and manage subscription boxes to help them execute this pilot. With this being a year-long pilot, we do estimate it to be around a $1.1 million investment, but to Ken's point, this is just a sliver of the cost that these caregivers are saving the system. From there, the model would be scaled, and our future improvements would be to auto-enroll caregivers as they are vetted and added to the program of comprehensive assistance for family caregivers. Our goal is that once the program is established, the boxes will essentially be paying for themselves, and it will really just be an operating cost model. To the right, we have some companies that are currently doing this today that vary based on the industry, but these are one of the several companies that we would expect to respond to this solicitation. We can advance to the next slide. Our ask of the VA is to really consider and execute on the solicitation we have described and start delivering, hopefully, compassion boxes by the end of 2021 via the pilot. And we'll take any questions.
Okay, thank you guys, great job. So we have a question from Blake right out of the gate. So Blake says, the VA is challenging to navigate. So have you thought about weaving in regular education on other VA services that a caregiver might tap into to make their lives and their veterans' lives easier or better?
Yeah, so Haley, I can take that one. So we actually looked at the VA caregivers website, Blake, and they have a variety of resources on there. And so our expectation would be that there would be a block or some sort of notification of this compassion box appreciation. So we don't want them to go to another website or go anyplace else. We want them to try to stay within the hard to navigate VA system.
Okay. Thanks for that.
And I think also this compassion box would be a really great opportunity for VA to also include communications too in that compassion box, letting them know about other resources available while they're receiving something. They're also receiving some education too.
Okay.
Yeah. And then to Carrie's question, this box is made for the caregiver. So the caregiver would be completing a profile based on their preferences, whether it's cooking, arts and craft, building, or what have you. That there are programs already in existence, but they're not really made for the caregiver. It's based on what supplies or what donations they've received, which is very, very lovely. But it's sometimes, or it's unfortunately missing the mark when it comes to the caregiver's desires.
Okay, thank you. And would it be possible beyond the initial profile, just an added question, let me go to Brandon's question actually. What is included in the operations cost annual estimate?
Yeah, so I mean, honestly, the team kind of just threw something against the wall, and we just basically said that if VA wanted to spend $50 a quarter per caregiver, it's only $200, and then maybe because this is going to be outsourced to a company, it could be kind of a cost plus fixed price contract in which the contractor would have a fixed amount for their administrative costs and their infrastructure.
Okay. So we're out of time for the questions, but I do recommend you guys check out some other questions flowed through. So please check out those questions too. And if you get a chance, maybe respond to those folks. I think that would be very helpful. So great job, you guys. This is fantastic. I'm really excited about this. So thank you very much. Okay, next up, we have Team Breathable Mask. And who's presenting for Team Breathable Mask?
I'm going to be presenting. My name is Preeti. Are we good to go?
We're good to go.
Okay, next slide, please.
Okay.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Preeti and welcome to Team Breathable Mask. This is my team and I'm so glad to introduce our team. We're a group of exceptional individuals from different professional backgrounds, which I believe has added more value and strength towards approaching our problem. So this is our problem statement. We are dealing with veterans that uses nasal cannula tubes that loops around their ears for supplementary oxygen because of their chronic respiratory conditions. So what happens is that these individuals find it really challenging and uncomfortable to accommodate both the tubes and the mask strap that kind of tangles around their ear region. So that is a problem that we were dealing with, and they find really uncomfortable having to go through the whole mask situation. So let's be honest. Who likes wearing a mask? Nobody likes it. It's super uncomfortable, it's difficult to breathe, and we just can't wait to get back home to get rid of the mask. So imagine a veteran having to deal with the same problem, but just added on to the cannula tube, which already has its own discomfort and usability issues. But over the past few months, we've learned and adapted ourselves to live with the pandemic situation. So we believe through our solution, we'll be able to convince these veterans that it is important to be able to go outside with the mask on, and we're trying to make it more convenient for them. We reached out to a few veterans to understand what the actual problem is, and we realized it is the problem that they face with the oxygen tube itself. And here is a small clipping from our veteran.
Oh, sorry, guys.
The problem with the hose and why it hurts is because it pulls down on the ear.
Right.
It rubs and irritates.
Yeah, this gentleman said it rubs and irritates the skin, but that's just not it. If it's prolonged for a longer period of time, it could potentially end up in like a chronic infection or like a skin degradation or even skin ulcer. So we realized if we have to tell a veteran that you should be able to go outside wearing a mask, it's just an extra add-on pressure on top of the ear region, added on pressure from the cannula tube. So we realized we have to come up with a solution that accommodates both the tubes and the mask together in a very comfortable way. So we came up with a solution called Flexi. Next slide, please. FlexiBand. So this is typically a flexible silicone band that rests on the backside of your head, just like the image you see on the far right corner. So we've given provision to accommodate the cannula tube and the button that holds the mask strap so that it relieves the pressure of the ear region. And our estimated production price per piece is 1.3 for now. And we've given four different sizes so that it is adaptable to each individual's head size and comfort zone. We made a basic prototype and we've given it to a few veterans, and this is how they reacted to our product.
Now, if those are going there, are you now able to reach back and tighten it a little bit? So it's not dexterity wise, are you able to tighten it?
Well, with one loop, looks like I'm able to tighten that. On that one side, I was able to.
Okay. Now, would you then be able to take your mask and pull it all the way back and get it in another loop back there? We put the mask on over the O2 tube.
Okay, like this?
Mm-hmm. Or can you reach it all the way back to that little strap you just put on?
What do you want me to do with that laser? Oh, try to get.
Yeah, so it's not putting pressure on the back. What do you think? Other than the O2 tubing being uncomfortable, how does it feel on your face and everything?
I don't feel it pulling down on my ears as much. I don't feel like it's lame.
Okay. From the video, you saw that it immediately relieved the pressure off his ears, and that is what we wanted. And they really liked our prototype, and in fact, they retained it because they found it very comfortable and they wanted to use. And I believe that's the first step towards success. So this is our prototype on the far left corner, and I believe with little more fine refinement and with a touch of a smart technology and support from our investors, I believe this can reach a far more population than just the veterans. So I welcome all those who are interested in our product to join together in helping these individuals live a better life. Thank you.
Thank you. So Blake says his wife actually bought something similar to this online, although it's clunkier. So you're getting lots of really positive feedback, which is fantastic. What do you anticipate the cost for production? And I'm sorry if I missed that.
It was $1.3 for now. We have this split up in the next slides. Can you go like to yeah, no, the one after, the last slide that we added to our appendix. Do you have, oh.
I don't have that one, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm, okay.
That's okay.
Sanket, are you online? Would you like to answer the question? Yeah.
Yes. So it's like we had some assumptions that, okay, we are going to have silicone injection molding. And if you're going to, manufacture 10,000 of those bands, the production cost will, it will be around $1.3 per piece.
Okay, thank you. And then we have a question from Sheila. How does it stay up or stay on?
So
the
it's
silicone band.
yeah. If you can go back to our design slide, if you don't mind that. The one before this. Yes. So from the image right here, when they hook on the tube, then that itself creates like a balanced condition for it to hook on. So it's just the mask that they have to hook it up on. So it just stands on their head. It just rests right there. It's just like a back headband with the support of the cannula tube.
Okay. And then Carrie asks about competing products. She says that people are using elastic with buttons for the same solution. So do you have any thoughts about that?
Yeah, we did see some of the existing products, but our whole idea was to accommodate both the mask and the tube within the same product. So it's like two problems with just one solution. So this is how we keep trying to innovate and incorporate both the products into the same single solution.
Okay.
Flexible design material, which is not it. Thank you.
Okay. Well, great job, you guys. This is excellent. You're getting great feedback online, so I think that's wonderful. So excellent. Very creative solution. Thank you. Okay, so I'm just going to advance forward to our next team. And I apologize that last slide didn't make it in, you guys. Our next team is Team Note Takers. And I think Brock is going to lead this one. Is that right, Brock? Do we have anyone from Team Note Takers?
Oh, I'm right here.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
All right. Hello, my name is Brock Clinton, and I'm from Team Takers. My team's experience includes the fields of nursing, information technology, and business management. Next slide, please. Our team's mission is to make note-taking safe and simple for VA in-home caregivers. I want you all to put on your divine imaginations and picture the typical home care visit. Our VA nurse is rushing off from the last patient. She pulls in for the next veteran, puts on, carries a large bag full of medical supplies and paper. After climbing the hot stairwell up to his apartment, our nurse finds there is no furniture to sit on, and the table is heaped with dirty dishes and mail. The nurse's glasses are fogging up, and she can barely see the clipboard falling from her bag. To herself, the nurse thinks, darn COVID-19. I wish there was an easier and safer way to do this. It is our task to make life easier for this note-taking nurse. I, Brock Clinton, am also an end user, a disabled veteran, and a nurse, Angie, could barely take care of me. Next slide, please. Throughout our design process, we went through 3 stages: desirability, feasibility, and viability. In our desirability stage, we looked at what does the end user want, and we interviewed Nurse Angie about her day-to-day challenges. During our feasibility process, we talked about, can we do it? And we came up with 3 options, and we focused on option 2 and developed a method of voice-to-text notes. And we looked at viability, the business perspective, and looked at, can it be adopted easily? We had so much fun, and Siri was our featured guest. Next slide. Next slide,
Okay,
please.
let's open the app on my iPhone. No title. Assessment.
Our proto.
Patient name. Jessica Rabbit. Diagnosis. Hypertension. Vital signs. Temperature. 98.3. Blood pressure. 200/90. Additional comments? Virus screen negative. We'll follow up in 1 week. Departure time? 12. So if the text didn't come up exactly the way I want it, I can edit it at this time before I download it to my email.
And what you just saw was our prototype solution. Siri's Shortcuts, a mini app for iPhones, which are issued to nurses all over the United States. Its key features include voice-to-text, voice to text, automated workflow, and no wiping, writing, sanitizing, multiple devices. Our estimated cost is between $250 for the Apple developers, could be hired, and for headsets between $30 to $100. Our estimated population reach will impact 140 VHA, HB, PC programs nationwide, serving over 38,000 disabled veterans. Next slide, please. Our product is ready to be deployed right now, as it is a shortcut that is already developed and is already programmed for iPhones that are issued to nurses all over the United States. With our products immediately being deployed, nurses' lives can be made easier and the quality of care for veterans can increase with ease. Help us get our product out to a community deeply impacted by COVID-19 to overcome its devastating impact on business operations within VA and caregiving facilities all over the United States. We really appreciate your time, and thank you.
Thank you, Brock. Great job. So we have a question here right out of the gate from Carrie. And Carrie asks, do we know how good the voice to text actually is? And what's the accuracy rate? Will it require potential rewriting to transcribe?
All right. I'm going to call Lynn in from my team to answer that question, if she doesn't mind.
Thanks, Brock. So as we know with voice to text, sometimes when you're doing a text message, you'll see where it doesn't actually put the word in correctly. That's why at the end of our video, Nurse Angie demonstrated that it just saves everything in the order the questions were asked, and she can edit it at that time. What it actually does save is them having to write this all down and then go back and type it, because that's what they're currently doing now. So even if they had to make some minor edits to some of the words, it would still be a huge time saver for them.
Okay, thank you. And then Blake asks, what makes this distinctive from Siri and native features to smartphones?
It makes it not much distinctive. That's why we went with this solution, because it could be implemented right away. This is the Siri shortcuts is something that's already in the VA issued devices. So it's just making it more user friendly so that those questions are pre-populated. They can be answered easily by the nurses, and that data can just be sent via email to their email, and it can be copied and pasted into the medical health record.
Okay, and I think that speaks to Sheila's question, which is about how the information is transferred to documents required for submission.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There will be no Fed ramping required because this is not an app.
Okay. And are there any HIPAA concerns here with Apple privacy history not being so great?
I'll answer this one, Brock. I did do some research, and basically what happens is the only thing that Apple does is it sends it out into the cloud and it translates it to the text, and then it gets rid of it. And it's just using the same secure VA email that's used today to send that data over the VA network.
Okay. And then just one last question. Brandon asks, how much in terms of supplies, cost, and labor do you foresee saving as a result of this solution?
So Nurse Angie said that this would probably save her 30 minutes per veteran in having to type up all of the notes and everything. So imagine that multiplied by the number of nurses and other caregivers going out to these veterans' homes. It could be a huge saver of time.
Wow, and that's amazing. And one thing I can tell you just based on my experience in trying to solicit some of these challenges, one thing I hear over and over again is how scarce time is now, because there are so many other burdens placed on the caregiver that weren't there before. So any time savings we can give them will be very appreciated and beneficial. So that's amazing. Well, thank you guys. Great job, team. Excellent. Okay.
This is.
So next up, we have team testing case 2.0.
Can you hear me?
I can.
All right. Hi, my name is Kevin Patel, Team HermTech. This is our 2.0 case next. So originally we focused on nurses in the field testing for COVID, and we designed a case with vacuum molded inserts instead of foam so that it could be disinfected with like cavi wipes or something. There's no reason you need to bring vets into the ER, jam up the ERs, raise the cost just to triage them to see if they need to be there or not. And this is a continuation program or project of that, where now we're in the home care setting where the devices are made to be used by themselves instead of a nurse. Next. Quickly, we found out from Care Plus Hospice that 60% of the places they go, they just don't get internet or data. That's their biggest cost. And we learned that the VA's solution right now is like $24,000. So we set out to make something under a 20th of the cost with only already VA approved devices, commercial off the shelf. We sourced them all, and we use network bonding. We basically combine the emergency first network with AT&T and Verizon and T-Mobile Sprint radios at the same time. Basically, if there's a signal anywhere, it'll get signal. And we send it out with the nurses on their home calls. And as you can see on the map, they usually don't get anything for like 10 miles. And they never once lost broadband data rates. Next. Oh yeah, it's I don't know why that happened, but so our process was our design went around like 4 pillars. We have the case, and then we really focused on the telecom and the Bluetooth self-administering devices, and we use the VA's current software on it. We first identified where we could be the most help, and then we lined it up with the innovation ecosystems, impact areas on geriatric health. Shortly after that, we lined up the largest case manufacturer in the world, plastics and vacuum forming, and made CNC molds all in the DFW area to make it a little pandemic proof on the supply chain area. We approved it by infectious disease in Dallas, and then started presenting along and testing the telecommunications and electronics. And then we started applying for seed and trial programs within the VA, and hopefully those results come out today or next week, something like that. And then we set up all the government accounts and lined up the university for the Office of Research. And and finally we made cool 3D videos for y'all. So next. The case has about 2 days power in it. It's 12.7 volts, so you could charge it with your cigarette lighter in your car or plug it into the house. It's just a ton of antennas in there, GPS to track them down. Oxygen, blood pressure, temp, heart, lungs, stethoscope can be measured. We tested it with real VA COVID nurses in the field and hospice nurses. Just in Pittsburgh, there's over 36,000 veterans in immediate danger and need of a solution, probably over 1 million in the country. The regions, the GREX VISNs, have a new $19 billion fund. I think there's about $1.2 to $1.8 billion project. We'll see. I think we're start off with about 10 million on it. Currently, we can make about 500 a day. We just got Class A light industrial space at the university. Got a cage code. They're less than $1,000, and that's quantity of 1. So really, we could bring it down to like 600 if we needed to. In the future, I want to tackle mental health, maybe continuous monitoring with an Apple Watch, other investors like insurers, and maybe food and basic supply deliveries. You know, we found out a lot of the elderly have trouble getting supplies at their house, and it's kind of sad. We basically want some way to hold us over until we could get our first purchase order somehow. And just Allison's blessing and acceptance in life in general, everyone. Okay. Well, can you just go to the last slide then?
Sure.
And I guess it's question time. There's mental health, by the way. It's It's very important.
You want the last slide?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so let's dive into some questions. Great job, Kevin. So how did you arrive at the 36,000 target market estimate in Pittsburgh? And could many of these folks not access drive-in testing facilities?
The way I got it was the Pittsburgh Associate Chief of Staff of Geriatrics and Extended Care was our mentor last round, Stephen Handler, and he basically just told us that.
Okay. And Carrie asks, how does this specifically interface with telehealth?
It runs all the VA Connect software and all of the devices, Bluetooth over to the tablet, and even like the heart murmurs and stuff like that. The physician, it transmits the sounds, and they wear a stethoscope with a headphone jack on it, and they can listen. It also has AI, so it catches like 99% of heart murmurs or AFib, things like that. It's diagnostic devices and data connection and video conferencing. It's the definition of telehealth.
Okay. And what's the vision for this product once we move past COVID? Is there any vision for military field medicine, for EMTs, et cetera?
Anyone that wants it, Dallas. Anyone that could use like, if you can't put two people together, you know, transport instantly, if you could fire up a Zoom call and get medical help or be tracked, it's wonderful. Even my doctor friends, they're kind of loving it. And especially all the introverts out there, like, I think teleconferencing is the way to go. I mean, there's no reason a lot of times to move a car 30 minutes down the road. You could see more patients. It's more relaxing. It's more comfortable for everyone, cost effective. These whole systems can be made for cheaper than the transportation costs just for one trip. For a veteran to go into the emergency room to jam it up 50% more just to be told they need to go back and be treated at home, and it reduces their 30-day readmission rates, which 20% of emergency patients have. This is not the wave. We've known it's the wave of the future for a long time. I mean, the US just signed Medicare and Medicaid now cover this. The VA wouldn't have just put $19 billion in geriatrics at the VISN level if they weren't gunning for this. I think the internet and like phones are here to stay, you know? So
thanks, Kevin. I appreciate that. And just to kind of piggyback on that, you know, out where we live in rural Colorado, you know, and nationwide, 1 in 3 veterans lives in a rural area. And many of the folks on this call know this. And so having a solution like this to help, you know, better connect rural veterans as Robert
this will work for those people that don't have cell phone connection for 10 miles either way down I-70 or, you know, in the Rockies. That's why we put the emergency first responder network in it and high gain antennas.
Great job, Kevin. Great job to the team. Love the animation. So great job, everybody. Okay. So moving on to the next team, we've got Team COVID Communicators / Whisperers. Formerly, this is actually for the judges, this is Team Mask Speak. So you aren't confused when you're going through your scoring sheet. So, and I think Bang Lu is going to present that.
I'll be presenting. Thanks, Dallas.
Okay, thanks, Abe. Sorry.
That's all right. And Caitlin will be co-presenting with me as well. So Team COVID Communicators would like to thank all the event participants for being a part of this challenge. Next slide. It's an honor to be a part of this core group of our team and to be a part of the entire global COVID-19 Maker Challenge team and global community addressing these unmet needs. Next slide.
During the pandemic, we have all faced many challenges, and one in particular has gotten to my heart. I have had a significant amount of patients with hearing loss that I have had a difficult time communicating with when I'm asking questions and providing education during home visits. Life is pretty rough when you tell a home care provider that they can no longer go see their veterans in their homes. It's like telling us we cannot see one of our babies multiplied by 75 or more patients. When I was able to see my babies again, it was one of the best feelings in the world. After several visits of talking as loud as I possibly could, I was getting frustrated that I was having such difficulty communicating with my patients. One day in my journey, it was 90-some degrees outside and my patient didn't have air conditioning. I was wearing all of my PPE, including my goggles, mask, booties, and a bunny suit because my patient had a bed bug infestation. To top it all off, he could not hear me through my mask. By the end of this visit, 52 pages of paper and one giant Sharpie later, he was frustrated, I was sweating, and at one point I thought I had swallowed my mask. I decided then that we can do better than this. I don't recall ever being this frustrated in nearly 12 years of completing this same job that I truly love. My team and I set out to figure out how we can do better. Our solution needed to provide effective and efficient communication to patients in home care. During our first meeting, we realized rather quickly that one solution was not going to address the communication needs of every patient. Furthermore, we had to consider usability, patient diagnoses, the potential home environments, and most importantly, sanitation during a time of such increased demand. Next slide, please.
How did our team work together to ideate and identify a solution? Rapid ideation enabled our project champion to test our first 2 prototypes by the middle of the week. Effective communication and familiarity with the existing solutions for the unmet needs sped this process. We went through multiple iterations and started with a mask with a window and ending up with a interactive mobile application. Next slide.
Have you been diagnosed with the coronavirus? Are you waiting for coronavirus test results? Do you currently have a fever?
Key features of the prototype solution include pre-recorded amplified voice recordings, customizable communication, ability to record, and treatment history. The benefits include efficient resource utilization, increased patient adherence, improved patient outcomes, and overall patient experience. We can't wait to share the user feedback. The estimated cost of production, ample supply of coffee, additional features and updates available upon request. We are seeking development partners for future versions. Future improvement, ensuring ADA approval, IoT functionality, and HIPAA compliance. You can see on the bottom, I don't know if everybody can see these, but we started with the PowerPoint, ended up with the mobile application, and the enhanced features would be EMR integration, wireless capability, and robotic automation. Next slide.
Dallas, can you play the top slide for me, please?
I don't think there's a video embedded. I'm so sorry.
That's
audio on the top right, Alice.
Oh, I see. Okay. Sorry.
Have you fallen in the past 12 months? So this is an example of what the actual slide with the visual and audio aids included. My home care team surveyed 15 patients for preference on audio or visual aids, and I was able to use both aids with one of my patients last week that was very hard of hearing. It was also a 90-some degree day with no air conditioning. However, things looked much different this day. At the end of my visit, he stated, "Well, that was a lot better than not being able to hear you guys." With another one of my patients who is legally blind and also very hard of hearing, at the end of his visit, I only completed the audio aids with him. He stated, "I'm okay with this. It worked. I just don't want you to have to carry much more with you." Bless his heart. Each day I asked my team for additional audio and visual slides, and I realized that my team was correct, that we needed to have multiple solutions. Lastly, this has worked well, but our team is currently working to see what can we do even better. Thank you for your time today. Next slide, please.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Great job. So there's a great appreciation for your demand for additional coffee, Abe. So no, this is a great solution. So thank you so much for putting in all the hard work on this. And I'm really excited about where this could go in the future. So just waiting for some questions to come in from the judges. Okay. What were the patient's initial impressions when they first saw your prototype?
Caitlin.
Caitlin, do you want to take this one?
Sure. So they were fine with it. Our patients are pretty adaptable at this point because they've been going through so much, but they were happy to use it. They were relieved just as I was relieved not to be yelling at them. They were happy to use it. And the patients that we surveyed were happy. I believe it was 87% of the patients were agreeable to using the audio, and 73 were agreeable to using the visual, and 60% were agreeable to using both. So, they were pretty agreeable.
Okay.
And
this one's already been answered, but Sheila's asking, what device will you use to provide this solution?
We're hoping to host this via the web, and then it would be adaptable to any mobile device, Android or Mac or iPhone.
Okay.
The initial prototypes, though, can be printed and also used on the existing iPads.
Okay. Now, are there any connectivity issues? We just heard from Kevin's team about how they're wrestling to overcome connectivity issues. So for rural veterans, as an example, how might you employ something like this if there isn't internet or the web, or do you not?
There were multiple connectivity options to deal with different environments.
Okay. Great. We'll give the judges just a few more seconds. Well, I got to tell you guys, one thing I can share with you is this is something I've heard over and over again since we started doing these challenges, is how difficult it is to communicate with a mask. And so it's really exciting to see you all take this on. I think it's really ambitious, but I love the approach that you took, and I think it has a lot of promise, a lot of potential. So great job, team.
Thank you.
This is excellent. Okay, so we'll move to the next team. And next team is Team Isolation Gladiators. Do we have anyone from that team to present?
Yes, Rebecca Graulich will be presenting.
Okay, thanks, Rebecca.
Sorry, I was giving the presentation to myself. So hopefully you can hear me now. Yes, I'm Rebecca, and I'm proud to be representing the Isolation Gladiators. Next slide, please. Alone in a room, forgotten. We met with a mother whose daughter had been hurt in the Army, and with a sister whose brother was hurt in the Marines. Both of their loved ones now have permanent physical and mental disabilities, and they live in skilled nursing facilities, alone in a room. These women shared with us their frustration and their sadness that even prior to COVID-19, other than themselves, nobody visited their loved ones. The greatest hurt is to be forgotten. The problem that we are addressing is that there are many isolated and lonely wounded warriors. Our requirements are actually quite simple. We want to take the wounded warrior and pair him or her up with a volunteer, a buddy. Key considerations include that lack of attention for these military people, lack of attention from other military personnel is particularly painful. And that also many of these warriors now have caregivers. Next, please. Isolation and loneliness is an invisible problem. In fact, the Wounded Warriors Project, neither the Wounded Warriors Project nor the VA have a continuous buddy support program. Our solution is simply to create a connection with an easy-to-use friendship app. Our team collaborated on every step of the process, and we leveraged our unique skills. We also conducted 2 end-user feedback sessions and implemented their feedback. Next, please. So I'd like to show you the app. An injured warrior and or his or her caregiver can click in, as well as somebody who wants to volunteer. So the warrior could choose how he wants to have the communication as well as the frequency. And of course, the caregiver could also do this. The registration form is really quite simple for the warrior. We don't ask too many questions. We need to know where they live. That's what the zip code is for. The volunteer clicks the other button. I want to be a friend to an injured warrior. Also can choose how they want to communicate and the frequency. Their registration form is a bit more complicated, or not complicated, but asks more information. We want to collect more data so that the warriors can be able to select who they'd like to have as a buddy. So now, for example, all of these volunteers pop up. You'll notice in the upper right-hand corner, it shows that that volunteer has been verified, meaning that we've already vetted them. The warriors can then select, they can filter based on what their interests are and find someone who matches their interests. Here is an example of a volunteer's profile. You'll notice it says request contact. If the warrior or the caregiver is interested in pairing up with this person, they'll click that button, and then the volunteer will receive the contact information. And so it'll be their initiative to call contact the warrior. They can also block it, or they can bookmark people that they're interested in volunteering with. So here, and again, with the bookmarks, they can go back and review who they had looked at previously, and again, filter. Next slide, please. So as I said, we did meet again with our mother and the sister caregivers, and we got their input. They liked the product. They said that they would, as caregivers, they would like to know who the volunteers are and to also have a human they can talk to. We estimate that there would take 8 to 12 weeks to fully flesh out this app. We have future improvements identified, including being able to enroll in the program without technology. Next slide, please. This is our team, and we feel that we are the team to make this app a reality. We're excited to tell you that the app is almost ready for beta testing now. These are our combined skill sets, and all of these team members are now standing at alert, ready to answer your questions. So with that, I would like to say thank you for listening to us, and we welcome your questions.
Great job, you guys. Great job. Great presentation. So from Carrie asks, what thoughts have been considered about protecting veterans from scams?
Well, one of the things is that we will be vetting the volunteers, and James is our developer. Maybe you want to talk a little bit more about that, James?
Yeah, we plan on taking on a partner, still in the process of filtering those out, but what we'd like to do is conduct background checks. Once the background check is complete, they will have the verified symbol on their little profile. From there, that's the only way that they'll show up in the app, is that they're already verified. That's the only way that a veteran could find them through it.
Okay, thank you. And then people ask what population will be used to serve as volunteers. She has a couple follow-up questions. What is the role of a volunteer, and how would you keep volunteers motivated? What types of engagement prompts are provided?
So I have, we've discussed implementing kind of a gamification, which will add points to gauge their commitment and their reliability, but also to keep them engaged. I also feel like the volunteers will have a lot of experience that they gain through it, because it's not just the veteran hopefully making a friend, it's two people that are connecting in a friendship. So I mean, I would think that personal connection is going to keep that volunteer motivated and coming back.
Okay, thank you. And I'm going to skip over your question, Alex, because I feel like he touched on that when he mentioned friendship. So I'm going to move on to Blake's, which is what other apps might you find yourself competing with, and how would you set your service apart?
So Rebecca.
Go ahead.
Might be a great one for Rebecca. So late one night, she called up Wounded Warriors and was just trying to figure out what else is out there.
Right. So the Wounded Warriors said that no, they do not have an ongoing buddy system for people who are isolated and lonely. They do have a number of, she said, over 100 people in their database, affiliated groups that support Wounded Warriors, and she said that not one of them deals with a buddy system. So I'm sure there are some local community, programs, I would imagine, but we were actually unable to find any. So we're not sure who our competition would be at this point because we couldn't find any, at least not by the big players who would have influence.
Okay. And I see there's another question from Alex, but we're going to move on to the next team to make it fair to everyone. So please make sure you take a look at that. And thank you guys so much. Great job.
Thank you.
Okay. So next up, oh, look at that. Well, that concludes our presentation. So we burned through all the teams. Boy, that went fast. That was amazing. So so next up, what we're going to ask is for our judges to go ahead and move into a breakout room on Zoom so they can begin their deliberations. We've instructed the judges to spend about 15 minutes talking things over. And then while they're doing that, so the judges, you should already have an invite to move into your breakout room. While they're deliberating, we have a special treat for you all. So my friend David Berkeley, I reached out to him and asked if he would mind jumping on and entertaining you all for 10 or 15 minutes while the judges deliberate. And he said yes. So that's amazing. Now, let me tell you a little bit about David, and you're going to get a really amazing dose of him in just a minute. But David has put out 4 albums to date. He also has a live album, and he's also the author of a book. David grew up in New Jersey and graduated from Harvard before he launched his music career, and that's how he and I met. He was in that kind of transition. I don't think he realized at the time it was a transition, but we met back then, way back when, and it's just been amazing to watch his career just go through the roof. He's incredible. David currently lives in New Mexico, and he's married with two amazing children, and it's just incredible to have David here with us. So, and I do want to say just one other thing. You know, among the groups that have been hard hit by COVID-19 are artists, particularly performing artists. And so I'd very much encourage you all, if you get the opportunity or you like his music, it's hard to imagine you won't, please, support David if you can. And here's some information about how you can do that. Just visit davidberkeley.com. So David, take it away.
Hi, everybody. Thanks, Dallas. Can you guys hear me okay? Am I coming through?
Yep, loud and clear.
Nice to see you, Dallas. The last time I saw Dallas, he had longer hair than I have now, so it's good to see at least one of us cleaned up. Thank you guys for letting me play a few songs, and thanks for letting me sit in on a little bit of what you do. It's incredible, and I'm honored to be a part of it. I thought I would just try to play some topical songs about support and loving each other and offering shelter for each other and strength for those in need. So I'm going to start with a song called "Broken Crown," which is a love song, but it's about enduring love, not just quick young love. Sweeping all the leaves up off the step, you found a ribbon, tied it in your hair. It was just like the ones you used to wear when you were younger. Turned all you touched to jewels. Oh, I think that's the same thing you still do. Oh, I think that's exactly what you do with all these pieces of a broken crown on the ground. Whoa, and you know never let you go, I won't let you go. From so high to so low. And lately I've been noticing the light in the morning, my body next to you. Well, I wish that you could see it like I do, how you move me, turn me on and on. But the road's as hard as it is long. Oh, the road's as hard as it is long. With all these pieces of a broken crown on the ground. Whoa, and you know I'll never let you go, I won't let you go. From so high to so low. So high to so low. And look at all washed up on the shore from all the shipwrecks, sea glass like sapphires, the golden driftwood. But now all the fog is gone, and my love for you goes on and on. Kinda like the breeze blows, kinda like the tide pulled by the moon. So come on girl, sing me that old tune. Oh, come on girl, sing me that old tune. With all these pieces of a broken crown on the ground. Oh, and you know I'll never let you go, I won't let you go. From so high to so low. From so high to so low. From so high to so low. Thank you. I spent this past year up until COVID living in Spain with my family, and we had to leave without a whole lot of notice when things got really bad. And I recorded a record right after coming back from Spain on this old Spanish guitar that I had gotten secondhand there. And I recorded it in my attic and, you know, on one mic with my family. My wife sings on a couple songs. My kids sang on a couple songs just with what I had in the house. I thought I'd play one of those songs for you. It's a little bit of an uplifting one, believe it or not, in these times. A lot of the record, it's called Oh Quiet World, the record. And a lot of the record is about trying to believe that we're going to get through this and not just get through it, but actually become a better people because of it. And so this was actually the first song that I wrote for the project. It's called Gonna Win the War. Gonna win the war, gonna hold it down. We're coming back for sure. We're gonna win the war. It's just a waiting game.
Hey, David, we lost you.
You lost me. Am I still there? No? You there? Nothing?
I can hear you.
You can hear me but not see me? Huh. But not see me?
No,
there you
go.
Huh. Was the connect?
Dallas. No, I can see. We can see you and hear you.
Well, that's good. Better. Was the connection been spotty or is it okay?
No, it's been fine.
Okay. Yeah. Weird.
Loud and clear.
All right. Well, let's start again. You'll like it better hearing it the second time. We're gonna win the war. Gonna hold it down. Coming back for sure. We're gonna win the war. It's just a waiting game. It is not the end, and no one is to blame. It's just a waiting game. Oh, child, we'll be fine. Don't be worried. I'll hold you tonight in my arms. Well, I know that it's hard. I know that you're scared. Alone can feel so dark. I know that it's hard. The enemy's unseen. It's different than before. We keep the space between. The enemy unseen. Oh, child, we'll be fine. Don't be worried. I'll hold you tonight in my arms. Oh, mama, I'm fine. Don't be worried. I'll keep you tonight in my mind. Gonna win the war, gonna hold it down, coming back for sure. Gonna win the war, and spring is coming soon. It slips inside these walls, it's bigger than these rooms. Spring is coming soon, spring is coming soon. Slips inside these walls. It's bigger than these rooms. Spring is coming soon. We're gonna win the war. Gonna hold it down. Coming back for sure. We're gonna win the war. We're coming back for sure. We're gonna win the war. Thanks.
Way to
Thank
go.
you.
Very nice. Very nice.
You need a haircut, David.
Man, I just got a haircut. How are we doing on time, Dallas? 1, 2, what do we think? We don't know until the judges come back.
You're doing great, man. Yeah, they'll let us know when they're back in.
All right, great. I don't know how I would decide this, so I'm expecting that we're going to be listening to me for a long time. So I'm going to play a song for you called Shelter off my album, The Fire in My Head. And a little bit like the first one, this is a song about pledging that we're going to support those in need, which seems like a topical song for you guys. On my way back home, feeling so alone again, when I saw the light was on and everything was wrong. I thought I knew, and in the schoolyard then I remember when you smiled, the quiet in your eyes still gives me butterflies. You know you do. And all that we've been through won't leave you. And all that we've been through, be with me, I'll shelter you. Am I my father's son, trying to catch the ones who fall, and all the ones you're near, they seem to disappear, no matter what you do. I've been trying to hold it all, like trying to build a wall with sand or a handful of cards, and the wind is blowing hard. Do you feel it too? And all that we've been through, don't leave me, I won't leave you. And all that we've been through, be with me, I'll shelter you. No matter what you do, I'll shelter you. And mother, look at me. I am trying to be so strong, and all along I see things that shouldn't be. Do you see them too? And all that we've been through, don't leave me, I won't leave you. And all that we've been through, be with me, I'll shelter you. No matter what you do, I'll shelter you. I'll shelter you. I'll shelter you. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, David, I think we've got time for maybe one more.
That sounds good. All right. Well, I'll close with a song called To the Sea, which is a song about coming home and trying to reconcile with those that you love and knew from before. Thank you for listening. Yeah, you can find me at davidberkeley.com. Somebody posted that. And you can find me on the Facebook and Instagram and all those other things. So I normally tour all over, but right now it's just from my living room den, wherever this is. So thanks again. Thanks for all you guys do in Dallas. It's nice to see you. So here we go. Father, 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 I am coming home. Open up the gates, please let me in. Everybody needs a way to start again. Oh, I've been on a road not always kind. Yes, it's been a long, hard climb. So Father, 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 lay your hand in mine. Oh, sometimes all we carry holds us down. but letting go is hard, I've found. So let me be like the leaves on the trees, they come back in the spring, go to green. Or let me be like the stream full of rain, it comes back eventually to the sea. It comes back eventually to the sea. Tell me, will we ever reach the promised land? There's nothing you can do to change the past. Will we ever get to say we're free at last? Oh, don't you know the war's over and done? I'm pretty sure more lost than won. So let me be like the leaves on the trees, they come back in the spring, go to green. Or let me be like the stream full of rain, it comes back eventually to the sea. It comes back eventually to the sea. So Father, 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 I am coming home. Oh, everybody needs a place to lean. Yeah, you and me both, it seems. So let me be like the leaves on the trees, they come back in the spring, go to green. Oh, let me be like the stream full of rain, it comes back eventually to the sea. Oh, I have found my way back to you, please find your way back to me. Oh, I have found my way back to you, please find your way back to me. Please find your way back to me. Please find your way back to me. Cause Father, 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 I'm home.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, David. I can't tell
Thanks,
you
everybody.
how much I appreciate it.
Good luck.
Hey, just to let everybody know, I mean, David and I worked together one summer in Hell's Canyon on the Snake River in western Idaho. And seems like a lifetime ago, but every time I hear his music, it takes me back to those days. And, great memories. So thank you
Likewise,
so much.
likewise, Dallas. I started writing on those rivers, so it's continuing for me. But thanks again, everybody, and good luck with everything, and hope to see you again sometime in person.
Thanks, David.
All right.
Be well.
Bye. See you.
So everyone, I think we're still waiting for the judges to come back in. I think they might be back in here in just another minute or two. I got word from Maggie, so just hang tight, and hopefully we'll get this show on the road here in just a minute. But I want to thank everyone before we kind of get the judges back on again, for taking the time out of your Sunday and joining us if you aren't part of the teams, and certainly for the teams for all of your hard work in creating these solutions. They're all amazing, and you're all amazing. So thank you so much. It means a ton to me, but I know it means so much more to the just to know there are people out there who are thinking of them and trying to come up with ways to make their lives even a little bit easier. It's really important. So thank you all. Okay, so everybody just hang tight for just a minute, and hopefully the judges will be with us shortly.
Dallas, can you get a 3D model? Can you get scanned and give it to Ben?
Can I do what?
Can you get scanned? Like, can you give us a 3D scan of yourself? Give it to Ben, please.
That is a dangerous thing to do. You should. Kevin might be romping around a city as Godzilla in the near future, so dangerous thing to do.
Y'all almost got like Abe Lincoln with the rocket launcher on a dinosaur with an American flag. Yep, no idea.
Okay. Let's see here. Okay, everybody just got word from Maggie. They're almost done, so just hang with us for just one more minute. They should be back with us. Sorry for the delay. It's a tough thing to decide a winner among so many amazing solutions. So I don't envy them their task. So,
Where all have you lived, Dallas?
probably easier to say where I haven't lived. Okay. Sorry again for the odd delay, everybody. And I know it was going to go on this long. I would ask Dave to play another song. So, and just to throw this out there too, I don't know that much about the music industry, but I do know, if you really want to support someone, whether it's David or somebody else, they don't get a lot out of Spotify or those kinds of things. So if there's another way that you can kind of support them and their art, that's always greatly appreciated. I know before COVID struck, a lot of these folks were mostly making their living by live performance. And now that's very hard to do, obviously. So anything you can do if you're able to support would be greatly appreciated. Okay, and while we're waiting, I guess I'll just, I'll fill some time by making a shameless plug. So just to let everybody know that we're working with the VA to do a series of 5 of these maker challenges, and this is our 4th, so our last one will be in mid-October, and that one focuses on disaster relief workers. And our initial goal in trying to do that was to try to help the Native American people, the Navajo Nation specifically, that at the time was hit so hard by COVID-19 and still is, but things have improved marginally for the Navajo people. So now we're looking to expand the focus of support for disaster relief workers. And I'm really excited about how that's going. So please, if you enjoyed this process and want to do one more, please, rejoin us again. Keep an eye out for those emails when we get ready to launch our next program in October. So. Okay. Time for me. Oh, the challenge. Sorry, Robert. So the challenge is going to get underway. I think it's the 2nd full weekend in October. Let me pull up my calendar here. I think that's right. So yeah, so it'll launch on the 9th, and then we'll have our closing ceremony on the 18th. So that's the plan. But you'll definitely be hearing from us. We'll reach out to everyone who participate in this program and past programs and let everybody know all the details for that. And certainly keep your eyes open on Crowdicity, that crowdsourcing platform that we use to solicit challenges. And as we start to get these challenges in, we'll add them there. And we would love for you to make comments in there and share ideas in there. That would be really great. Oh, that's a good idea. So someone just suggested trying to connect with one another while we're waiting. And again, sorry for the delay. It's, we always give the judges a 15-minute window, but it's very hard for them to stick to that. It's a big decision, so.
Dallas, we're back.
Hey, there you are. Okay, great. Good to see you. Sweating bullets over here. Okay. So we've got all our judges.
It was a tough one.
It was a tough one. Okay. And for anyone who doesn't know, if you haven't met her yet, this is Maggie Tolan. Everybody, she's amazing. So Maggie's the program director, and she does all the hard work behind the scenes to make all this happen. So she's incredible. So moving on to awards. So the way we'll do this is we'll ask each judge, we'll ask the judges actually to present these awards. And after they announce the award winner, what I would love to do is to have the winning team unmute yourselves and just come back into the group meeting and just say a few words about the award and what it means to you. So I think that would be a really lovely thing. We'd love to hear from you. So presenting the Business of Value Award, I'm not sure who's presenting this one. Do we have a judge?
Yep, Blake's presenting.
Okay, thanks, Blake. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. So for this first award of business value, we selected team Mask Stash. We felt like this would have a tremendous amount of utility for, especially for caregivers and or the general public, if it could be pulled off as you've kind of outlined. So congratulations.
Way to go.
Yay. Thank you. Oh my gosh, I'm so surprised.
Thank you.
It's been an honor. Yes. Thank you, team. It was great.
Excellent. Congratulations, you guys. That's fantastic. We're really excited.
I'm amazed. I'm amazed.
Well, it's been a long journey. I've been with you guys since the beginning, and it's really been exciting to see your progress. So way to go, you guys. That's excellent. Okay. For our next award, we have the feasibility award. And so we'll need a judge to present this one too. Oh, it's actually Brandon, I think, is going to present this one.
We actually had.
I'll go ahead.
Alex.
We called an audible there, Dallas. So it's my pleasure to announce the winner of the feasibility award, and that winner is Mask Speak COVID Communication. We felt that they did a tremendous job with identifying a population that really could use some innovative solutions, and but they're also very feasible as well. So we congratulate them on presenting a pretty remarkable solution for a population that needs it, but a very feasible award as well, or feasible idea. Thank you.
Thanks, Alex. Do we have anyone from Mask Speak to jump on?
You know, I think feasibility is music to our ears.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Abe. And congratulations to the whole team. That's very exciting. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Next up is our Innovative Design Award presented by Sheila.
All right. I'm excited about this award. So the Innovation and Design Award was for the team that had a wow factor and appeal in solving a problem.
First one had like I don't know. I don't think so.
And so we selected Watch Me. So love the approach of being able to have your care provider see different parts of your body. Like currently you can only see head up, but if there's an issue going on in other parts of your body, having that solution where they can see more parts of you, we thought that was really innovative.
Thank you, Sheila. Do we have anyone from the team who can join us?
This is Pam.
Yes.
We're all here.
Hey. Thank you so much. And it was a pleasure working with this group of people. We came up with integrated design, and it was a challenge to get it all together, but it was definitely rewarding. I can't wait to see it actually happen.
Andrew, are you on?
Yes, I am right here.
Nice.
Yay.
Yay.
Good job.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you. Thank you, Pam. Thank you, team.
Thank you, team. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, you guys. Great work. Congratulations. And then next up, the User Experience Design Award presented by Carrie, I believe.
Yep. A large part of UX is understanding the real need and the user's pain points, and the group that did this well and came up with a solid solution was the team Breathable Mask. So congratulations to that team.
Excellent. Do we have anyone from the team who can join us for a minute?
This is Gina, and I was the end user and did the videos with the patients, and I'm really excited about the product. I think it really can make a difference for O2 users.
We all owe Gina a lot from Team Breathable Mask. Thank you, Gina, for all the end user feedback. It was a great backup. Thanks.
Great job, you guys. Congratulations. Okay. drum roll, virtual drum roll. We have the last award, and this is the IEX Design Award, and this is the award for the best overall design. And it's my understanding this one was very difficult to decide on for the judges. So I'm very excited to hear. And I think, Brandon, I'm assuming you're going to deliver this one. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. So, and you're absolutely right that, you know, I think there was quite a bit of deliberation around this. That being said, you know, I think all the submissions here are wonderful. It was a tough decision, but, you know, kind of looking at it, the decision was that Team Testing Case is the winner of the design award. Congratulations.
Come on, team, say hi. Come on, guys. Unmute yourself.
Yay.
Bunch of introverts.
Hello.
Hey! Now. How do you bow? Ben, you make me bow?
What?
Dude, they've heard me yap in virtual reality for like 10 minutes in that movie. Like, come on, guys, say hi.
I am the artist behind the random video, so hello.
Thank you, Ben.
Excellent. Congratulations, you guys. That's very exciting.
Awesome. Thank you.
Great.
Thank
Well,
you.
you guys, I just want to say, you know, this is a really great program. I feel like they get better each time we do this, and this one was no exception. This was incredible. The solutions were incredible. The teams were incredible. Our judges are amazing. I want to thank everyone for taking so much time, again, out of your schedule, out of your lives, to work on these projects. To our judges, thank you so much. I know Sundays are sacred for all of us, and to take time out of your day to join another Zoom call to contribute to this project, I really do appreciate it. I want to thank our sponsors, our partners as well. My good friend Danielle Krikora. Danielle, would you like to say a few words? Hopefully she's still on. Danielle.
Yeah, she needs to unmute.
Okay. Danielle's one of the.
Sorry, I was having a hard time unmuting myself. Hopefully you can hear me. Yes?
Yes, you're good.
Great job. I echo what Dallas said. I think these get better every time we do them. I'm truly humbled by all of the time and attention you guys have put into this. And the projects that have come out of it are just incredible, many of which I can see applicability beyond just the population that we are talking about today. Sorry, I have a zoo behind me, so children are fighting and everything like that. But thank you all very, very much, and I can't wait to continue to work with you guys post-event to get these into the hands of people that need them the most.
Thank you, Danielle. There's an incredible team behind Danielle and I that helps put all this together, from Maggie and Rhonda and Lily and Eiley on my team, and then with Danielle, Rachel, and Kurt, and Kristen, and Nick, and the whole gang. A lot of folks work on this behind the scenes to make all this happen, and I'm really grateful for all their hard work and attention too. So thank you all so much. I don't want to take up any more of your Sunday. This has been incredible, but please do stay in touch with us. We have one more of these to go in October. Again, it gets underway right around October 9th. This is the next one focused on disaster relief workers. We'd love to see you all again then. Please help us spread the word, drive more makers, drive more end users to the program. We'd love to get you involved, so we need all the help we can get. So please do stay in touch with us, and thank you again, and congratulations to everyone, not just the award winners. And you will be hearing from Maggie soon, probably this week, to talk about, you know, how we can move forward on all these fronts. So thank you all again, and have a wonderful night. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Good
Bye,
job.
everyone.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.